Game time, anytime. Turn it up and let it play. Local Sports Network all day. Your home team, your call day. From first whistle to replay. Local Sports Network. We live the game your way.
All right, good morning, everybody, on this beautiful Saturday morning, ready for a great game of footy across the nation. There'll be games everywhere. I'm joined by my opening man every week, Jaden Carney. Welcome on the phone, JK, who is driving to sunny Avenel today.
I'm driving up to Undara, so we will pass Avenel.
Where the hell is Undara, buddy?
It's near Shepparton, apparently, is what Matt is telling me.
I lived in Shepparton for quite a few years. I've never heard of it.
There you go. Small country town, I reckon.
Huge weekend ahead of footy. Really exciting because it's so early in the season. The season's wide open and everything. Tell me about Avenel, where you're at, and tell me about what else is happening in country football that we should let everyone know before we move on to the NFNL.
Well, Avenel starting off with a bye is very interesting for us. You know, you do all the hard work in the pre-season, and then you get to round one with a bye. But we're here now in round two. We kind of got to have a look at the results and who beat who and who's going to be the teams and whatnot. So yeah, we'd be expecting a win today against Undara. They've probably been down the bottom of the ladder last few years, but they did actually beat Avenel last year.
Okay.
So it's probably a big day for us to start the season on a positive.
I'm interested, how many boys from the Northern Football League make their way up to your league or to your side?
Well, I think we recruited nearly 10 this season, and then, you know, there's guys like Josh Delaney from Mernda, who's the coach. You got Zach Hill from Mernda as well, Luke Furchie, Mernda. So obviously we've had a fair crack at Div 3 Northern, Nick Jolly from Thomastown. So yeah, I guess it's just somewhere where people can come and experience the country footy without going too far, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does. It makes a lot of sense, and it's pretty smart. I mean, the good news, it's only an hour up the road, isn't it? And you get to play a different style of footy, and if you're maybe not getting a game every week, you're more likely to get a game up there. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it's definitely been the way that we kind of advertised it to the recruits that we were talking to. But, you know, for someone like Luke Furchie, who was kicking big goals in the reserves for Mernda, he's going to come and now be full forward nearly every week if he's kicking goals. So it's a big opportunity, as you said. So.
All right, excellent. A sad event happened this week that you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, obviously it's been a tough week for the Elton boys down at Panther Place, losing a very close one to them. Josh Ernest, who Burger, they called him down there. Very loved, lovable character. Just you couldn't say a bad word about the bloke. Very close with our very own Brett McCaffrey as well. Lost his battle to cancer, and from all reports, like he's such a fighter. So just to the family, his family, sending lots of love, and then obviously to Elton Football Club, which is his family and has been for a long time. Just, you know, sending our wishes and all the best today, and hopefully they can get a win for him.
I know Bongo's pretty close there as well, so it'll be an important one for them today, and that's very sad. Definitely gone too soon and very young. Yeah,
37, mate. It's pretty tough, and yeah, it definitely rocks the football club, but I guess this is what community sport's all about. They're going to come together today and, you know, be there for one another, and I spoke to Kath before, and he's going to head down there after the Epping game and
awesome,
you know, just support his mates and stuff like that. So
amazing. That's very, very sad news, but it's important that we do cover it. An important community young man there, and this is where having the clubs around you and the support is so important. My thoughts with everybody today affected and going to that game to get behind it, and yes, very tough one. Let's move forward here, JK. Tell me, I want to ask you a question that I get asked about you a lot. Why did you go to Avenel? What's the theory behind you going to Avenel? You would have been... the truth is you could have got a coaching job or an assistant coaching job down here. What was the reason for going to Avenel? Because it's a question I'm sick of answering.
Yeah, look, it probably started with a connection with my brother. My brother played up there, obviously for his own personal reasons, he wasn't allowed to play in the Northern. So I guess just for me to head up there is a bit of connection to him, I guess. We never got a chance to play senior footy together. So to, assistant coach the team that he played for, his last senior game before obviously he finished up, that was a big drawing point. But also, just the club that is down there, like guys like Nathan Woods, Joey Pollock, I mentioned Josh Delaney before. These guys, the amount of work that they put in, just to see how passionate they are about Avenel, like that was a bit of a drawing point as well for me. And obviously a new challenge and experience, as you said, probably could have got a gig closer. But, to venture out of the Northern Footy League is probably a good thing, and just to see other footy.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it is good sometimes to get away, learn something off someone else and bring that back. And we know you're a footy nuffy like the rest of us that are related on the footy show and through Local Sports Network. But it's good. And I must admit, selfishly, I wish you didn't go, and I wish you were down here a bit more often, call a few more games with us this year. But we'll have you back in no time. Maybe I'll be criticising you as a coach soon and getting right up here.
Well, you know what? Results speak for themselves. So, we'll be happy to be criticised if results aren't going our way, and I'll have to be criticised as a coach, and that's how it is.
That's just part of the game. In saying that, I have two amazing coaches on today with Jimmy Atkins and Garry Ramsey coming up over the next hour. So we have 1 hour of power today. We're doing 10 to 11, trying to cram everything in there. And again, sponsored fantastically by signaturesports.com.au. If you're looking to host an event at your club, so all the way up to Avenel, he will go there. Benny, no dramas. Whatever you want to put on, there's not a big name that this man does not have in his phone. So if you're looking to have a special event at your club, talk about, products for your canteen, FPOS, whatever it is about the running of a club, there's nothing Signature Sports don't know about. So get in contact with Ben via his website, and he will absolutely be grateful for doing it. Now, JK, KB's coming on with a Saturday beef, right? A Saturday beef. This is new, and I can pre-word you what it's about. I had a quick chat with him this morning, and it's about mental health at clubs, okay? You could argue it's been done to death already on the Carlton thing the other night, and so I'm not here to focus on the player, but I think he might be onto something about obligations of clubs at that level. If they maybe can't get it right at that level with doctors and everything, how much harder is it for local clubs? And I guess that's the question I'm going to ask him today. But, in your time, have you been in a similar situation where you've seen someone that wasn't quite right? I know you've had 7,011 concussions. Is there a time someone should have just said to you, look, mate, no, not happening today. And it's not to point anyone out, but it is the topic of the moment, and it's a huge topic because mental health and all of these other obligations of clubs are really coming to the forefront.
Yeah, look, it's definitely been a big thing, especially with me and my concussions, and obviously I've been mental health and stuff like that. Epping, I thought they did it really well. Like they had, there was mental health nights, people come down. I remember there was one where it was a really raw and emotional night, and everyone got up and they started sharing personal stories, and you're just seeing a different side to all these blokes, and obviously it's okay to speak, and for men I guess there's a stigma around not being able to speak up and talk about your issues. So yeah, it's definitely a big thing. With the Carlton issue, it's an interesting one, to be in that element and that high up and still have those sort of issues is showing that, they're still normal people too. But, it's probably a duty of care that he probably shouldn't have played. But, there's probably times for me that, I was probably told no, but being local sport, I guess a little bit of pushback, and I was probably allowed to go out there when I shouldn't have on many occasions. So, it is what it is, and in the end, it's my decision, and it was all my fault. But, as you said, it's like the duty of care.
I know everything's easier after the fact to comment on it, and I guess that's what we do as media people and commentary people, is we have an opinion after the fact. And but during that game, you could see there was some signs that things probably weren't right. The commentators seemed to be onto it before the game as well. But look, I feel for the guy. I hope it all works out well for him. And we're in such a hostile world of pressure, and that's the point I'm going to make with KB today. And if it's too hard, it's okay to just say no and walk away for a bit. And there's a lot of pressure at all levels, but at that highest level, it would just be extreme.
What Bailey Smith said last night was quite good. It's been a tough time in football this week, obviously with the Dawson family,
Yep.
The tragedy there, and then Elijah Hollands as well. So, maybe just taking a step back and seeing it as it's the real world as well, and there's real problems with all these people. So.
It's been a bit of a sombre morning with you for our 10 minutes brought to you. You're proudly brought to us today by Site Supply, the best electrical supply company in Australia, located in Jersey Road, Epping. Speak to Adrian White and the team there. See what I'm doing today, JK? I'm starting to incorporate the sponsors. I must be getting better at this. But you go and have a fantastic day up there. I am going to get Jimmy Atkins on the line. So I'm a one-man band here. We're going to try and get him going and ask him all the questions. Any hard questions I should ask Jimmy today or what?
No, look, there's not many hard questions you asked today. I think they're flying down there. So just how are they going to go with the stigma of being one of the best sides again, and after the grand final loss, how do they come back from that?
All right, I'll ask him in a roundabout way, and I'm not allowed to tip him. He gets angry with me when I tip them, but I'm the only one that tipped them to finish the top, so we'll see where we go from there. All right, JK, you have a great day. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for the Northern Footy Show for another huge show ahead. And we're trying to get the Eltham Turtle down, so make some calls. I know you've got contacts at Turtle Land. I want the turtle on the show.
We can work that out. I'll send out a message right now to Zach Cole, and I reckon he'll sort it out for me.
All right, you sort it. Thanks, mate. Have a great day.
Thank you, mate. See ya.
Great to have JK joining us there, and whilst I'm dialing in Jimmy Atkins, I think it's the absolute right time to just thank all of our sponsors who get behind the show, and this one is definitely powered by signaturesports.com.au. He is the man when you're looking to have a function at your club. Just dialing Jimmy in.
Hey, Dad.
G'day, buddy. How you doing? You're live,
Good,
so there'll be no small talk before we go in. We're mid-show, mate, so thanks for coming on, buddy. And you're very, very special shout-out here, Jimmy. Your dad is listening from Japan today.
He is, yeah.
The great Mickey Atkins. Mick, thanks for listening all the way from Japan. I'm not sure we've had a viewer before in Japan, so I'll take the credit for that one, even though it's got nothing to do with me. Mate, let's jump straight into it. Round one, done and dusted, huge win, 102-24 against Watsonia. But I want to ask you about that game. It was close early, wasn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, definitely. It was a pretty strong contest in the first half. And, yeah, look, the weather probably played a bit to do with that as well. But we had to probably change up a little bit of the way we wanted to play. And, yeah, it was we executed that in the second half pretty well. And, look, and then the sun came out as well, so that helped.
Yeah, it always does. I mean, but, credit to Watsonia there as well. At quarter time, it was only 6 points of difference. You guys were 6 points up, 3-2, 20 to Watsonia, 2-2, 14. At halftime, you were 4-7, 31, 11 scoring shots to 5. So it could have broken away, but it was still only 11 points. But then, as you say, not only the sun opened up, the game opened up, and then, it's 22 scoring shots to 6 by end of three-quarter time and 27 to 9. So everyone expected you to beat Watsonia quite comfortably for the list you've got and where you guys are at as a club. But there's another test coming today, isn't there, against Moonda, because it doesn't matter where the both of you are on a ladder. This is the Carlton-Collingwood type feel game, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's always a strong contest game. We always talk about it. It's like a finals game during the year every time we play Moonda, and especially there. And look, they're a very good side. I'm really enjoying what Nipper's doing. He's a good coach. He's got those young kids coming through and putting a few experienced guys around them, and that'll be a pretty good side this year, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm impressed with what he's managed to bring in and the way he's gone about it as well. He brought in, Greeny coming in is a huge asset for them. Having the rest of his players fit is great. He got a couple back from Gather Round this week as well with Yankos and Grillo. So, I mean, those guys come back into the side. From your perspective in round one, I watched the replay in 3-speed as I do to try and get through as many games as I can on the weekend. Noah Mooney, you wouldn't think you could go another level, but he's in supreme form. He looked elite on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a special player. I mean, he's playing in our senior side at 16 years old, and yeah, look, he can play a round of positions as well. In the ruck, I mean, second half of the year last year, he's probably one of our better players as well in the ruck. So got a great leap, and look, the new ruck rules probably suited him really well as well. But gets around the ground, got a great set of hands on him. So he played a really good game last week.
I think his skill level is for a big guy is sensational. And what blew me away that I know as a coach I loved, and I'm sure you and every other coach in the world love, he doesn't do a first and second effort. He does a third and fourth effort. He's just always on the move for a big guy. Not as common typically down in Div 2 or Div 3.
Yeah, absolutely. We highlighted a few of his packages on Thursday night. It's the tap and then it's to himself sometimes, or it's a tackle, or he hits body and just clears path. And he does that when he plays forward as well. Sometimes we might look pretty tall in the forward line, but if Noah's there, he's playing ground level, he's laying tackles. He's usually one of our most tackles during the game as well. So, yeah, look, like I said, he's a great player.
What comfort does it give you as a coach to roll out in round one with someone like Jesse Donaldson, do you look at him as an on-field coach for you with that level experience at his age? Is that how you look at him as well?
Oh, absolutely. He will make a very good coach one day. But we're very lucky to have him. And yeah, I've had a relationship with Jesse for a few years from our time at Monty, and I saw it straight away. He's a great on-field leader, fantastic player, but he just makes everyone around him so much better as well.
I paid a lot of attention in the replay to his off-ball efforts, patting someone on the back, being the guy picking someone up off the ground, talking to them in what seemed to be such a calm motion. You know how some guys get out there and like, mate, you got to be there for It was none of that. It was very structured, good talking, and I'm looking forward to getting down there and watching him in a couple of weeks' time and really wrapping my head around him. Go to your other superstar on game 299, I think it is today, for Paddy Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
6 goals on the weekend. I'm putting that down as a fail, Jimmy. That's not good enough. It's 10 or nothing.
Oh, look, he's once again, he's a very good player. I think he kicked 5 in the third quarter. Yeah, look, there's a reason why we obviously kicked the 7 in the third quarter. We got the ball out of the middle and we're able to hit him one-on-one a lot, and that opened up the game. But I think even at stages it was 1-on-3. Once he gets going, he's hard to stop.
He is a star. I want to ask you about a couple of other players. Skipper Luke Wilson, what's he bring this year that's different to last year? And if it's nothing, that's okay, because I watch him and he's just a natural workhorse.
I think the best thing for Luke Wilson is, he's a great player. He's probably one of our most consistent players. He's always thereabouts, but it's been him now knowing that he doesn't have to do it all himself. He's got a lot of great players around him in the middle. You've got Jesse, you've got David McLeod, Kane Arthur, Joel Lawson, Steve McCallum going through there as well. We're pretty lucky to have the midfield depth that we do. So, Luke's probably loving that as well, that he doesn't feel like he's got to be the go-to man all the time. He can play forward, have a bit more of a rest, and he's just going to relish in that position.
I'll touch on a couple more players before I move on to my next set of questions. My favourite player at your club by a country mile, to everyone's disgust probably, that it's not one of the, the Fitzies or the Donaldsons, and I love him. But Caden Arthur, I just love the way he plays in finals last year. He gets crunched more than any other player I see play football, and he just bounces back up. Caden, let me give you some free advice. That's going to hurt like buggery when you get to 50, but just keep doing it for as long as you can. He's a genuine superstar that could play Division 1 in nearly any side tomorrow, but he sticks fat with the power.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we love about him. And he would have had plenty of opportunities to go Division 1 from the first season he started, and he's just been able to stick fat. He's captain of our club now, and his junior group that he grew up with playing footy, they're all still there and stuck fat as well, and he's a big driver of that. So he's the one that you really want to get the result for. I love coaching guys like that, and there's plenty of them at our club that have, been with us for a few years now, probably had opportunities, but want to see this club go places as well.
And you're definitely on that path. And then I look at things like you've got 5 pointers in Matty Keys, 3 points in Fitzgerald, 4 in Waldron, 2 in McCallum, and 4 in Donaldson, 3 in Waldron, and you're still only sitting on 36 points. This is why, and I know you probably got Daz's voodoo doll out and stuck a couple of knives into my back there when I tipped just to finish the top of the ladder. And I had this conversation with Pete Rawley, and he agrees, in principle as well. You can't make what you guys have there with these kids that have stuck fat together. And that in footy is worth so much more than trying to build a side with dollars or, trying to top up or play on points. You have a huge asset here. You have all these guys that have been together for a long, long time.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the direction of the club 7 years ago when I was took the job. They, we're going to have under 19s coming through, the first junior group coming through, and there was going to be a lot of 1 point players, and we stuck back with making sure we played our local kids. And eventually there was going to be a time where we get the recruits around them and we look to try and power through. And look, we're very lucky to have these guys that are 1 point players as well, but we do feel like once we get other guys into the doors, they don't leave. So obviously their points come down as well.
Yep, of course. And 37 out of 46 points, where most clubs are really struggling on points, is a testament to what you do down there as well, because you're highly respected. I know you don't like credit going your way, but what you've done there with these boys is sensational, and they play for you, so that's great. Enough pissing in your pocket, though. Let's get on to the next one. Where do you want your guys to improve on this season from last season? What KPIs have you set for these boys to become better this year?
Well, it's a tough one because we got a lot right last year. And,
yes.
We're just unlucky to come up against a very good side in Fitzroy. Look, we've changed the way we want to play a little bit, and that's with personnel coming into the door as well. But, look, a lot of the stuff we were doing last year, we're doing again. We're just trying to make sure we do it all the time. And, look, we probably realised that we had to change a couple of things. But, look, other than that, we were on the right track last year. We just got to make sure we're improving all the time at those roles.
Yep. No, I totally agree with that. Who's become your class clown this year? There's always one new one that just pops out of nowhere at the start of the year. Who's your class clown so far this year that you just can't help but love the cheekiness?
Oh, geez. It's no secret how much I love Jimmy Atkins. He's one of a kind, and he's back into the senior side this year. Is fantastic. But We've got plenty of them. Steve McCallum's outrageous sometimes. He makes me laugh, and Joel Lawson. It's great to have those guys around because you can't be full on serious all the time. You've got to have a laugh, and you definitely need that, even as us coaches need it as well.
2 more questions for you before I let you go. And what game are you at the moment? Are you at your 19s?
Yes, I'm at Lauren with South Morang at the moment.
What's the score?
Actually, was sitting next to Corey McCall here at Gilmore's Cage.
Yes, nice fellow.
Yeah, we're having a good watch of this game.
What's the score there so far?
South Morang are leading 22-9, and they're about to have another shot on goal.
Okay, it's on for young and old, nice and early. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about today's game. It's there's every opportunity if you get by Mernda today with a win that you'll be sitting 4-0 because your 2 games that follow that are King Lake and Old Eltham, and they will definitely be expected wins. How do you tackle Mernda today with their ins? What's the game review that go without asking you how you're going to play your game? But how does you set up for a Mernda knowing it's a Carlton Collingwood type feel game?
Look, I mean, I'd never think 4-0 every day. You know that I wouldn't have thought that far ahead.
I know, but that's why you have me
this week. But we look. Sometimes you got to watch on what they're doing. I've watched a lot of their game, but I tend to watch them more worry about what we're doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think if we can just stick to our game plan and try and move the ball fast and, get plenty of run on the footy, that usually makes us a really good side. So if we can get that going, then we'll be right there at the end of the game. And, definitely you got to watch the Mernda Stars as well. But also be very wary of these young kids that are coming through for them that are going to be very good players.
I think so. They've got some really good players in this side as well, and obviously when your coach runs out with you as well in Nipper, who can add some really dog about the game. I love Nipper and the way he goes about it. He will fight to the death. I've never seen him come off without being ripped apart with blood. But they've got Morrison in, Green in, Marshall in, Evans in, Lockie Potter's back from getting married. Congratulations to Potsy for that. And then they've got Seka, game 2, Lincoln Coffey, Pajaga, Yankos comes back. So they've got plenty of stars in the side. But then I look at yours and you actually match up so well on each other. Like, as in stars for stars, there's plenty there. I know Nipper will be wanting the upset. You'll be looking to, stamp some authority of where you sit as well. Everyone tipped Lorimer to win the other day on the footy show. And I think it's going to be a cracker game. It will be the first game I'll watch on replay when I get home from the Greensboro Banyule one tonight for sure. I think it's going to be really good, and I wish you the best. For that, one more question before I let you go. Jimmy, there's been so much talk in the last couple of days on mental health in sport. How does that work at a local level with coaching? How much attention do you need to pay? Do you have a team around you to have to pay attention to that, to identify things before games? Because if it's hard to get it right at AFL, I dread to think how hard it is to get right at local level. Is it an open book policy for players to come and speak to you? How does it work at local?
It's definitely an open book policy, and you're right. It's probably the one thing that's changed for me most in coming back to coaching from when I was at Willisey. It's how aware I am of it, and I've got plenty of players that have come to me at Lorimer that suffer from the mental health, and the only thing you can do probably as a coach is make sure you're there to check in on them and talk to them regularly. But also, I can't help them, and they got to be aware of that as well. And so to make sure they are getting the help they need, and then regularly checking in on that. Obviously, as a footy club, we do a lot of stuff around it as well, and just to make sure these guys know that, one, they're not the only ones at the club. They're probably standing next to someone that's suffering as well, and for them to be aware of it, but also to make sure we're all there for each other and we're all checking in with each other. It is massive, and
it is hard.
Young men.
It's very, very hard at the moment, and I ask that question because I know you're such an approachable fellow as well, and I know that you got a good club down there and a lot of good people. And my message to anyone that's listening to the show that might be struggling or might think they might be starting to struggle or whatever it is speak to someone, reach out to someone, and then there are a lot of professional free services available, like Are You OK, Beyond Blue, all of these things. Please just reach out and ask for help, and someone like Jimmy to go to ask for direction of where to go is a fantastic starting place. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. I wish you all the luck today. I won't tip you on the phone because I know you hate it. To Mickey, enjoying Japan. This guy travels as well as anybody I've ever met in my life. So
he's absolutely loving it. You can let him know too. I'm driving his car at the moment. So
yep. Did you tell him about the dent in the back?
No, I won't be telling him until he gets back.
It's all right. Just tell him the grandkids did it, mate. He'll be a bit soft. I reckon he's a bit of a soft grandpa too. So
yeah, absolutely.
He will be easy to get one over there. All right. Well, thanks so much, mate. I wish you the very best today. Have a great game, and I'm sure we'll speak to you throughout the season, Jimmy.
Thanks, Dad. See you, mate.
See you, mate. Bye. One of the very best parts of this job is that I do, and, we don't get paid to do this job. It's a volunteer service, and we'll continue to do it, and we love everything about what Local Sports Network's been able to bring to you, but none of this happens without me having a huge bunch of sponsors to pick up the bills of hosting a radio station, the internet, and all of those things, and go around running all these pages. My team behind me, definitely in Jaden Carney, Mickey Thompson, Kevin Brown, and Brett McCaffrey this year is nothing short of sensational. These guys do a lot for local football for free, and I want to take that opportunity to thank them. Just before I bring Garry Ramsey in, and I'm going to power through our sponsors because we are absolutely zero without them. All things safety, we're in Briar Hill. If you're after safety wear, please support the local guys there in Briar Hill. If you can't get there, he will get it to you. Site Supply Australia in Epping, Jersey Road. Speak to Adrian White and his team. If you're an electrician and you're not buying electrical supplies off him, you're paying too much and you're not getting the best service. Coach Smart, Coach Boards. We've got Coach Smart coming on the show next week to explain how these boards work a little bit more. We're going to have a special on junior footy next week on the Northern Footy Show. So look forward to Tyler coming in there. Signature Sports. This show is sponsored by signaturesports.com.au. If you're having a function, get there. Diamond Valley Auto Care. This is tragic. Watch this one. Bip, bip. If you need your car service, get down and see Ash Garraway at Diamond Valley Auto Care. He is the best mechanic in the world and he runs the best show in the world. Tyres, servicing, whatever it is, get down and see Ash. Been with us from day one. Brainy Brothers Brewing bailed me out of a 5-slab deal this week. I had a bet, as you may have heard on the show or during the week, with I said Diamond Creek wouldn't get within 5 goals of Montmorency. They actually drew. They probably should have won. I bet 5 slabs on it, so I've had to reach out to our good friends James at Brainy Brothers Brewing, and he has covered it for me. Belgravia Apparel, well dressed here by Belgravia Apparel in the New Balance gear this year. Thank you so much. And Evan's Print Work, Laura, my man himself down there, Evan will know, is your best one-stop print shop there is. Get hold of him on 9717 3030. Bayford Ford, drive away happy. You get down to Bundoora or Epping and ask for Adrian. Tell him you come from the Northern Footy Show or Local Sports Network, and I guarantee he will give some money back to your club. General Chicken Co., best chicken going around. Aussie Green Lighting, fantastic. Speak to Sean Fitzpatrick. He will look after you if you need your hot water service sorted in a commercial environment. And happy birthday to Wayne Cassar from Waytech Rendering. He is one of the best. I powered through that. I'm clicking dial for Garry Ramsey. We're going to get on to the great man, the Whittlesea coach. He told me he will take the call. We're powering through on time.
Hey, Darren.
G'day, Gaz. You're live, so straight on. No short, small talk here today, mate.
I've moved behind the goals here at McLeod into the net end here. To get the full atmosphere of the place.
You've got the atmosphere, you're loud and clear. You're not doing anything dodgy down that end of the goals, are you? Putting some extra, liniment oil on the ground down for McLeod today.
No, it became very handy when this got put up in my time here that I didn't have to forever chase balls around on the road out the back here.
That's true. That's a win, isn't it?
Yeah, yell at them for when the ball goal kicking when they let the balls roll over the other side and not go get them.
Oh, God. Well, no one will appreciate how far we had to fetch balls back when we were playing footy, mate. So that's true. Thanks for coming on, Gaz. You have a huge weekend of footy ahead of you. Let me go back a week, though. Excellent start last week against South Morang. I'm going to take a small amount of credit here. I'm the only person on the Northern Footy Show that said Whittlesea will finish atop of the ladder at the end of the year and will win the flag. So I just don't you let Brownie or any of these other guys, Caff or JK, tell you differently.
Are you a good punter, Darren? Hopefully you're a good punter then.
Not really.
Hopefully you're not the kiss of death.
No, well, Jimmy Atkins, who I've just hung up from, he hates me tipping them. Nevertheless, you did have a great start.
I think it'll be a pretty even year where I think the competition's pretty even. But I appreciate someone's got to be your tip, and I'm glad it's us.
You are in that now. A 30-point win in a game that was quite tight through the whole day last week, and I was following it. We were commentating a game at West Heidelberg, and I was watching this game because for me it was match of the round clearly. But some very accurate kicking early, from both sides. And then did the wind pick up or something? Because you ended up with 14-13 and South Morang ended up with 9-13. Was it windy, wet, sloppy, or was it just some inaccurate kicking?
No, it was I don't know if the ground dried out or I'm not sure. No, because it rained in the last quarter. We kicked what was it? 5 in about 12 minutes. From the 11-minute mark to the 23.
Yes.
In the third quarter, we kicked 5 goals.
Yes.
And I suppose the result was 5 goals. So it was that patch of footy which probably decided the game. Other than that, it was all pretty even.
It really was. At quarter time, you were 1 point up. At half time, you were 12 points up. And then you say in that third quarter, you broke away to a 36-point lead, and it ended up being 30. So South Marine might rue maybe some inaccurate kicking. Saying that, to be fair to them, though, both sides kicked 13 points.
The rain came down the last quarter.
Did it?
They probably had a lot of the ball, but it was very slippery, and it spent a fair bit of time in their forward line, but it was pretty hard to probably score. There was a lot of stoppages and, out of bounds just because the conditions, I think it was about three-quarter time, it's come down pretty hard. So it was a bit of a scrap at the end.
You must be pretty happy to see Bailey Robertson get best on ground, or that's where he was named here. I'm not sure if you gave him best on ground.
I did. Yeah, that was me. Yeah,
so best on ground in his first game at the club. That's great, but it shows how good a player he is.
Yeah, and I suppose there's always that thing when players come up from a division, you don't know how to rate their performances or rate their ability probably from a lower level until they do start going higher, and similar from second division to first division. And he made that initial step really good, and who knows what his ceiling is, because he acquitted himself beautifully. He fitted right in. I think he's had about 28 touches and didn't waste one. He kicks the ball beautifully. Got some go in him too. That was really promising. There were some promising signs with team too, and you had like a young under-19 Caden kick 5, Caden Allen.
Seen that, I was about to mention. That's crazy, isn't it?
And another young kid that stepped up, that struggled to get a game of the 19s last year, and he's young Balin Greaves at the second ruckman, and he was fantastic. He sort of, he was really good that he'd done a massive pre-season, and he sort of franked my belief kind of in footy that if you work hard and you train hard, you can improve quickly, and it's exactly what he did. And I've never seen, he was absolutely fantastic for where he'd come from last year, and I'm not surprised with the effort he puts in off the track.
Michael Thompson said he was outstanding, and that Michael Thompson's a real lover of the game who reports for us, and he said he was very, very good, really impressive. Yeah,
and it's incredible improvement. That he was, from all there was some good performances from young kids, even kids that have played in the seconds last year, like Kane Johnson. You know what I mean? That was a great. But I think out of all of them, I thought Balin was probably, it took us. You go, wow, that was a really good example to everybody around him.
You love that, don't you? You love the surprise packets as a coach. I mean, I remember coaching myself the juniors and watching the juniors and going, where did he pull that going from that kid? I didn't know he had that. And then, I've got another asset I can use here in my arsenal.
That's right. No, but it also probably becomes an example to the other young kids that he played with last year. There's about 22 of them in front of him sometimes, and to say, oh wow, how did he get there? And they go, well, maybe if I do pull my finger out and I do some training in my own time, and I get in the gym and I do some fitness work, that maybe my improvement can be similar.
No, I'm a huge believer
a healthy
of the
lifestyle.
Pre-season. It's hard, isn't it? Because there's so much junk available to people as well. If you really focus hard, you're never allowed to speak about my son on this show because he gets shitty with me. But let me say this: Brandon finished his year last year, and he hired a personal trainer on his own in the off season, so that he wanted going to a new club to Greensboro. He wanted to be the very best player he could, and he didn't want. You've got to resettle in, don't you? So he ate right, he done everything right, but not just for him. If you put it in, you'll get the results. It might not be the highest accolade in the world, but you will get better results.
And it's nice when the footy finishes to know, well, I couldn't have done any more. I know exactly where my level of footy was at. You know what I mean? I couldn't have done any more, couldn't have trained any harder, couldn't have, so I actually know how good I could have been, and I'm okay with that.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Not everyone's ceiling is AFL stardom at all, and it doesn't have to be either.
No, exactly right. And sometimes you get people going, oh, geez, I'm desperate to play first division, Gary, I want to play a higher level. I said, well, maybe if you play at the highest possible level, at the level you're at now, at a low, and you earn the right to play at a higher level and have an impact, because I think you can reach your highest level, whatever that be, by doing the very best you can at that level and then move.
Mate, how do I argue with that? I'm supposed to be the one that makes sense here, but you're doing it all. No, and rightly so, because you are one of the most experienced coaches in the league and highly respected, and you're right. And it must frustrate you on the other end when you see guys with talent, then, Gaz, who don't give it their best and, then wonder why the opportunities don't arise.
Well, and that's right, and you have them conversations, with people, and then you just say, I don't know, you're upset with me that you're either getting dropped or you're not playing on the ball. I said, I wish you showed this passion on the training track, and I wish you showed this sort of fire, when it came in your own time in the gym or in group training sessions. That's the time to get angry, and that's the time to, push the rest of the flow, not drift through and then get angry at a coach or angry at a club because their game plan doesn't kick it to you every time, or you get to play the exact spot you want.
Yeah, 100%. And look, that's footy, and managing people is the hardest thing you'll ever do as a coach. People just don't see that other side. It's like a good pre-season. What you've got to put in all year round is tough. Let me move to the next question. You take on McLeod today, and McLeod are, they're a serious outfit. You're going to have to earn your stripes today, but a win against McLeod definitely makes a statement that you've knocked off the people tipped to be second and third. What's the preparation going in against McLeod? They do have some experienced stars, and you got someone like Darcy Barden you've got to stop, and they bring in Darcy Hogg as well. So he's a very good in for them today.
Yeah, no, and they've got the wood on us. They got us 3 out of 4 last year, beat us in 2 finals. Got a great coach, Nick's a star. He's a great coach, Nick.
Great guy. Great guy.
So yeah, it's an interesting one. Put it this way: we have to do things differently than what we did last time. Mm-hmm. We know how to get beaten. We got to find a way to win them. So we'll look to do a few things different than what we did the last couple of times we played them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for them getting a couple of guys back in is great, but I look at your depth here as well. I'm very happy to see, I like your leadership group. So you've gone for 3 captains this year. Can you give me a bit of thought process behind Bland, Andrews and Tennant all having the captain's badge?
Yeah, well, I had a chat with them all. In an ideal situation, it's probably better to have one captain, but because they're all young and they all have aspirations with their football, all of them eventually want to play good first division football. They do have some aspirations, and that's why it's pretty hard to then try and turn around to a young person, ask him to be captain, to control us, and then get the very, very best out of themselves as well. And so I thought I'd share the responsibility. I made sure I asked them as well. I said, if you want me to make a decision, I will. But this is the way I see it. You've all still got individual aspirations. It's not just team aspirations. They've got it, which is really good. I admire that. So I said, well, why don't we share the workload and let you also be able to give your best chance to achieve your individual things that you want to as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea of sharing the role, because I think sometimes the burden sits too much on one person. And in tight games, if you're a little bit mentally drained, or you're exhausted, or, you've had so much of the ball, you haven't been able to focus on the others as well, it's nice to know that there's someone else that's got your back. Yeah,
and there are some people that, just the ideal individual captains. I suppose coaching McLeod when I had Kane Shaw, where Kane was just ultimate team first. The team aspirations and the club aspirations were higher than his own, and he was happy just to do whatever it took. You know what I mean? For the club to succeed and for the team to succeed. So he was the ideal choice for an individual captain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a bit different.
There are different situations which require different things.
Yeah, I know you're busy. I want to ask you 3 more questions before I let you
go. That's all right.
I could speak to you all day long. You've got obviously McLeod today. Then you have Old Peas, and then you've got the Stars in Division 2 is so tightly contested from those top 8 sides. Anyone can beat anyone, can't they? And that's just not
for sure.
me throwing words around or trying to put some, commentator stuff behind it. It is that close. There's no guaranteed game in those top 8.
Oh, 100%. And that's just the fact that I suppose when you grab each list and you put each individual's achievements and you work out where that list should finish, I think you'd find that all the lists are really similar. There's no list in there that's that you would say, oh, they've all played an amazing first division. There's superstars in this list that they should win it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's probably there's a lot of lists. It's probably a genuine local football list where most of the lists have been put together through junior clubs without a heap of recruiting.
Yeah, I agree. It's an unbelievable season in Division 2. The league must be rubbing their hands together, not knowing which game to pick for round of game of the round, etc. Which is true. I want to ask you about another player who I had the luxury of watching in junior football. No, not junior, under-19s football at Bundoora, who has since been to Craigieburn, now landed at you. Yep. Riley Gaylard was an absolutely outstanding under-19s player as a 17-year-old. He had the body of an adult, quite young, strong hands and silky skills. I haven't seen much of him. His dad doesn't hesitate to abuse me when I was umpiring cricket a couple of years ago, though. Slide doesn't mind giving it out. Don't worry, all in good manner. But how is he progressing? Because he's a great pickup for Whittlesea.
Yeah. No, he's fitted because he knew some fellas here to start with. His best attribute is his leadership. He is fitted and he coordinates the forward line there and does it in a real positive manner, the way he talks. He's a bit of a coach's dream. Every so often, I do challenge them with some different thingos, and I challenged him one day, and he looked me in the eye and said, "Yeah, whatever it takes, I'll fix it. Whatever it is you need done." And he really, it's a good sign that he'd be one I'd go to 3/4 time if I needed a lift. I'd have no problem, raising my voice because he looks like he would respond really well.
Yeah, no, I'm a big rapper. I watched a little bit of the replay last week, and I was impressed with his work effort, his workload, and it's not necessarily just the touches. It's, I just don't see enough guys lay things like Shepherds off these days, and he does that unselfishly to give up the ball to make room for another player, and they're the things I sort of look at as a former coach or as a commentator now of those 1%ers that I know coaches love.
Yeah, well, you picked it really well, and that's probably that's what 2 practice matches or whatever, 3 and 1 proper game, and he's already a really strong leader out there, and he's already a popular team member because of his support for others, and it's really nice to see that a new person can come in and make a positive, not just to their own football, but to a team. To a team and a club. He's done that really quickly.
Yep. My next question for you is a bit of a statement, and I won't throw the person under the bus because he's told me in confidence. One of your players said to me this, there's a vibe building here at Whittlesea like I've never felt before. Garry's leadership is sensational, and I feel like this team is as united a team as I've ever been a part of. What do you contribute that comment to?
Well, I don't know who it is, but I
can't tell you.
I attribute it to that probably, and I suppose before I take on a coaching role, it's kind of a people's first. I got no magic game plan, and probably tactically I lack in some different areas, but I probably a strength is I actually like people, kids myself, and I enjoy being part of people's achievements. I get a great thrill from it, and probably the best way I know how to do that is just be kind. You know what I mean? And there's some of the technical footy, some probably other people teach them that. I do a little bit of that, but I reckon that people's basis, people are more likely to perform, play well, go to the club with a bit of kindness rather than trying to bully them.
Totally.
They're trying to be tough as well, but I see that. Whittlesea, they're a close group of mates that have grown up together. It's basically now all local sort of people and locals, and they want to succeed. They probably, bring it to generally they're good people.
And you don't have a points problem either, which tells me you've got good juniors there.
Yeah, well, this is I'm just watching the 19s at the moment. This is the strongest under-19 group that I've been since. This is the third year, and this is the strongest under-19 group. I reckon there's probably 5 or 6 who could easily play senior football.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, easy, you know.
That's good depth.
Yeah, this is the strongest group that we have had.
Wow.
And then I think in the reserves today, there's some genuine senior players that have either been away, like Zane Anderson, Keegan Tracy, Paul Higgins, Riley Powell, you know what I mean, that have limited preparations that are going to have to do their, Clancy Bland, that are going to have to do their get fit in the reserves and wait their opportunity. And, you know, the longer they stay, it means we're going better. But, yeah, they'll be ready as well. So there's a bit of pressure on people that are playing.
Yeah, you need the depth coming in finals. 33 points you played on last week of the 46. And I was just saying to Jimmy Atkins, who's playing on the same amount of points in the last interview, that shows your club's in really good stead when you've got that much availability and you're putting your best side on the park. My last question for you is I have Tyler on the show this Wednesday night. He's coming in to talk to me.
We spoke about that this morning.
When I said I've got Mr. Ramsey coming on, everyone would have just assumed it's you, but we've given you the Khyber pass and said, no, I'm bringing on Tyler because I'm going to speak to him about the boards. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is I was speaking to a junior coach on the weekend that said, I'm just absolutely lost at the moment. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to get him to explain these boards and so forth. But I need some dirt on him. If you've got any dirt, you can give me on
well,
him.
It was funny. As I'm leaving today, he said, Dad, your ego just can't get in the can't stop. And he said, it was meant to be my interview. I was meant to be finally get my limelight.
Yes.
And next thing I know, you're on the show before me.
No. But he gets to be on TV. You just get to be on the radio, mate. It's all you, Tyler. Make no mistake in the world.
Well,
he's a
great.
He's a ripper.
He's a great. He's done some really good background in his coaching. He's been an amazing supporter, all the way through. But if I say that he used to train hard at footy, but footy ability it wasn't his. He's a kinder person than a great football. And we did set his line the last game he played at Whittlesea. We set his line at over and under 2.5 disposals.
That's definitely getting a run.
And the unders won.
Oh my God, we're getting a run. I might do a handball competition, him v Caff this Wednesday night on the TV, and see if Brent McCaffrey gets him or he beats the great man. So who had 64 touches last week? Brent McCaffrey had 64 touches last week, so we'll put him up against Brent Wednesday night on the show.
Mate, I'm not sure if Tyler had that in his career.
Oh my God, this is gold. I'm playing this. This is going to form part of our replay build up to the show all week now. Thank you so much.
Well, what an underdog he is coming in, right? It could be a David and the slaying of David and Goliath.
It could be. He's parted the waters and he says, Dad, this is what you missed out on, and he just opens it all up. I love it, Gaz.
He said, if I only give him one more chance, things might have been different.
Well, we're going to put him to the test. You have an awesome weekend. Tell me a quick score update before I let you go there, Gaz.
What's that?
Can you see the scores there for a score update before I let you go?
In the 19?
Yes.
McLeod 1-1. Whittlesea 13-19.
All right, beautiful. Wow. 13-19.
Yes.
Wow.
We might have to sack the goal-kicking coach.
Jeepers creepers. That's, wow, good morning. One is.
Andrew Fairchild is not only, the great assistant coach, he's also the goal-kicking coach. So I'll have to question the job he's doing down here with 19 points.
Have a hard word with him. Don't you let him get away with anything. That's insane. That's amazing. Mate, all the very best here today. I look forward to catching up with the better Ramsey on Wednesday night. And
I look forward to watching it. I'll get him practicing in the shed.
I won't invite you in because he'll crack the darkies. We'll keep him honest. He's our man. All right, mate. mate. Have a great weekend, Gaz.
Good on you, Darren.
See you, great. Buddy. Bye-bye. The great Garry Ramsey there joining us. He is NFNL and Diamond Valley royalty, that man indeed. Now, I am running a fraction behind. That will shock no one because my show runs behind every single week. But I'm going to get KB on because he's got a beef, and it might be a valid one, worth talking to him about this morning. So let's see if he picks up as he's on his way to Fitzroy Stars to watch the great Eddie Betts play today as well. KB, are you with us?
I am.
I know I'm running late. That will shock no one. My show's always running late, but doesn't matter. We don't have news obligations or anything like that. So thanks for coming on, mate. Give me the under-19 scores. You're down there, I'm assuming, already at the Stars?
No, I'm not. It was the games were pretty long way away, so I thought I'd go to the gym and come home and get ready to go to a Stars game. So
yes.
I don't really know the scores right now. Unless I get off my phone and look onto them, which I don't know how to do both.
All right, well, don't do that. I'll help you out with the scores because I just hung up from Garry Ramsey. How's this for under-19 scores? Whittlesea leading into half-time. Yeah, 13-19, 97 to McLeod 117. That wasn't the scoreline I expected him to give me when I was on the phone to him just then. Now, what division are your 19s in?
Which 19s are those?
Fitzroy Stars. Do you have 19s?
We haven't got 19s.
No,
we didn't
no
get them across
19s
the
this year.
line. We should have. But
right. I
didn't
thought you were
enough
going to get them
numbers
across the
towards
line. Yep, sorry. Don't pay enough attention to 19s. You're right. That's why we need the 19s show back. And let's put that one out there first. If you want to run the under-19 show on Local Sports Network, yell out. You're more than welcome to host a 19 show, and we will put it up here every week. No dramas. Now, KB, we had a very short talk this morning, and you have a Saturday Brownies beef for us.
Well, probably the beef I had was after Thursday night. There was a bit of an incident that's gone around the media. It's been on every Facebook post whatsoever.
Yep.
But my main beef is, what duty of care do, we'll say, clubs or coaches have towards a player?
I love it. I asked Jimmy Atkins this in the first interview on this morning's show, and he made a very good point. His door's always open. Come in and speak to me, but he's not a professional in that area, but they will help guide them to whoever needs those help. And he said plenty of people have reached out in the past and so forth, and, you don't have to feel ostracised or odd to come and ask for help. We all rather that. I know it's been done to death, but let's speak about the Hollands one for a second, okay? Everything is always easier in life, KB, isn't it, after the fact for criticism? But the truth is, people were talking about it during the game.
In the warm-up, there were signs of, sort of say, whatever happened. Then you sort of you got your line coaches that would know that the poor kid that's a good player hasn't had a touch-up until half-time. So I can say before the game, maybe get away with it. At half-time, that's when the really concerns start happening for me, where it had to be identifiable by then. So he still went on the third quarter, and it wasn't until the last quarter they actually took him off. So I think he played 60 to 70% of game time and didn't have a touch.
Yes, it's been well documented there. Now, from my perspective, and I know we spoke about this earlier this morning, but from my perspective, what concerns me at a local level is that the AFL have access to doctors and trainers and well-being people. These clubs turn over millions and millions of dollars a year, and if they can't get it right, how much harder is it at local level? What can we do to ensure something like this doesn't happen is point one. And question two, which you might lead with, is in your career, did something like this ever happen? Did you ever see someone, who shouldn't have played, maybe had too many concussions or maybe had a bender or and someone should have said, hey, mate, you're not playing, not happening, or whatever reason. Help me out here, because this is about how we fix the problem.
Absolute many times back in my career. I've actually done it myself. One Saturday I wasn't meant to play because I was getting a bit up long in the tooth, and I'd been up all night. I'd been on the juice or whatever, not the alcohol, because I've never touched the drug, but I was on the alcohol. Got home about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Bloke come around, picked me up and said, "You got to play." And the only way I could play is that I'd done the wrong thing and had a few cans on the way up to where I played, and I played intoxicated.
Really? And
So
did
I've done
anyone
it
pull
myself.
you up on it, or they just couldn't because at that stage I know it's different times. That's a shit
You
excuse.
do the old
but
chewies and stuff like that, and you try to sort of like, because I
mask
wouldn't be
it.
smelling of alcohol, so just try as best I could. Did the coach know? I don't think so. Maybe. I'm not sure.
It worries me how we're supposed to pick it up at local level in versus AFL level at that level. You know, I mean, I spoke in last week's show, albeit briefly, and we'll end up doing a whole radio program on it at one stage about, you know, how coaches speak to players and their obligations and responsibilities of coaches and understanding the situation, understanding this as people's out time and so forth as well. How, if you were to coach today, let's just say you were taking on the job at, you know, any club, I won't name one because that's not fair, but if you took on a job as a coach, senior coach today at a club, how would you try to gear up with that for your players? You know, what would the message be? Because it really does need to be addressed by every club, doesn't it? And I'm sure it is.
Oh, at local level, I've got no doubt back in my day that people were going, doing the wrong thing left, right and centre. People have been up all night. People probably taking illicit drugs to get through the game and so forth. Back in probably our day, it might have been maybe a bit of speed or whatever. At this level, I'm not sure what you can do or what you can't because you've got no testing. And unless you identify someone that might not be fit enough to play, how would you know? How would you? I've got no idea how you'd stop it. Unless they're absolutely shit-faced off their face, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, it's all right.
But unless they're really, there's massive signs of it, what you just walk up to a bloke and say, I think, I know you've taken an illicit drug, you're not playing today, and the bloke would just say, what are you talking about, mate? How would you prove it? How do you even
I don't
identify
know.
it?
And this is the problem. I don't know. As I watched all of this unfold in the last 48 hours, I don't know. And that's the problem. And, you know, I'd hate to be a league at the moment. Where does the responsibility fall back towards the league, or does it fall to the club? Does it fall to the coach? Does it fall to the wellbeing officer?
It probably falls back to one person, the individual.
Yeah, you might be right.
That's how I look at it, because to me, it's only a matter of time before someone does, I don't know, run out and have a heart attack, or run out and get hit and knocked out when they've been on something, and someone might get sued. So I'm not sure what a club, what a coach, or what the league can do about it, because to me, the onus is on the player.
One of the questions just come through, KB, I want to read out to you is, do you, in your time and now, so I'm reading this at the same time, in KB's time and now, are players still playing when they should be sent off with concussion? That's actually a really good question. It's from an anonymous.
No doubt, because I know if I went down, I got concussed many times, probably heaps of times. So I reckon Rob Bolson got me in 98. I picked up the ball and
probably
I
deserved
the wrong
it.
way, and they turned me around and said, "You got to kick that way, KB." And that night I went out and had 20 or 30 beers, whatever, the next day. And it wasn't massive back then, but I've got no doubt now that if someone goes down, they would go and pretend they've got a sore knee. So the concentration on the trainer would be their knee, and then they would evaluate themselves. So if they go down, they get a bit groggy. Well, if you've got a knee injury, the trainer's going to look at the knee before the grogginess, and the grogginess might go away. So I think it can be masked quite easily still these days. And then you can make your own evaluation. But if a medical person makes an evaluation, usually it's straight away you got concussion, you miss the rest of the game, whether you got it or not. And sometimes I don't think some trainers that have got a first aid certificate actually know the patient. If you got me to do a concussion test right now, I'd fail.
Really?
Oh, well, if you go for a concussion test, right, it's pretty in-depth, and some people aren't as smart as other people, and some people just fail it even if they've got no concussions.
I have to get you in front of Sue Stanley. She came in a couple of years ago on the show and brought in one of these, I can't think of the name of the machine, like CTP or something like this machine. She did Sean Smith, the former Melbourne player, on the show, prior to the show, and did a test. I might reach out to Sue and see if she's prepared to do one on you. Would you do one of those tests to see what you're like now?
No doubt.
You would,
and
okay.
I reckon with the amount of concussions I got on and off the field, I reckon I'm a bit like Greg Williams. My memory isn't as good as it used to be. Should I have looked after myself when I got concussed? I should have back then, but there was no actual, let's say, scientific evidence to prove otherwise. Back then was like, if you miss the game, you're weak.
Yep. Yeah, as times have certainly changed. I'll follow up with Sue on that. That would be. I think it's definitely worth visiting on the show. She's a superstar. I'll definitely ask her on that. Mate, tell me. The other question I wanted to have for you today is based around players like Eddie Betts coming back to play today. I know he's playing at your club today at Fitzroy Stars. So Eddie he played in their premiership last year. Eddie would have to be 40, wouldn't he? 41 now. I probably should have researched that before I come on. I'll type it up at the same time.
He's got to be close, yeah. Late 30s, early 40s.
So important for players like that to come back, isn't it, to the community and play and have a bit of fun with teammates. And that adds a lot of, he's 39. It adds a lot to local footy today. I'm sure people will come to your game today purely based on Eddie Betts.
No doubt. And you know what? When you got marquee players like that, it's great for the competition. I wish there was probably a ruling, and not in Eddie's situation because he's going to play his 5 games and qualify, but for any person to come back, whether it's Trent Cotchin for one game, I think you should have a marquee player points rule where if a person comes and he's only going to play one game for that club, he shouldn't be classed as any points whatsoever, so he's encouraged to play rather than a 6-point person.
All right, so how many points is Eddie for your club today? Is he a 6-pointer?
I would say he's
Five-pointer.
either, I'm not quite sure,
He'd be
he's either a 4 or a 5, I would assume.
I'm going to tell you because actually the points won't be out yet for me to tell you, but he will. Let's assume he's a 5-pointer because he would have come down 1 from last year. Yep. So how would you rather see that go? How would you see that? What in your perfect outcome? He comes in as how many points today?
We'll just say he comes as a 5-pointer, so we might have to, we'll say, sacrifice a 3 or a 4-pointer for Eddie's to play for today. Whereas if Eddie didn't, if he was a 0-pointer, those young kids that might be a 3 or 4-pointer from say we brought this up last week as a Brownies beef, those kids miss out because unfortunately you're going to play Eddie before, we'll say, a kid from another club that may be a 4-pointer.
So are you suggesting that one club should have a marquee player that maybe comes in on just 2 points instead of...
No, just have 0 points just to encourage him. So you get a marquee player in, like a Heathshaw last year at Heidelberg West. He's a 0-pointer.
Yep, Mitch Robertson, Tom Mitchell.
0-pointer, yep. One game, one off game. If he's going to qualify, though, no, he gets full points.
Okay.
So if he's going to play finals for you, that's 4 points. If he's going to play a 1 or 2 game, just marquee, you can have that player.
But the plan is for Eddie to play finals, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Eddie will play finals, so to me, he gets full points.
Yes,
so you can't have him as a marquee player. He's not a marquee player. When you're playing, you're not really a marquee player because you're qualifying.
So maybe one game per year, they qualify as a no points, but once they come back for their second game, they're full points.
Oh, someone like Lalo, if they brought in, we'll say, a Kuda, is a 0-pointer. Then if they brought in, we'll say, a Lance Whitnell back in his day, is a 0-pointer, just to encourage them to try to get people through the door.
I like this.
Well, I like the marquee player rule, whereas, if Lalo brought 4 in for the year each week, right, just try to get people to come through and to encourage other people to play with them, best of luck to them.
It certainly stops a lot of this questioning on points, like the Cotchin incident last year. And I understand Cotchin's being re-reviewed at the moment because there is enough evidence to show that he's a 1-pointer, which is great. So that'll be good news if that happens.
I'm not sure how they can prove that after, we'll say, I go back to the great Boomer Harvey and Shane Harvey getting, 5 points from Preston RSL when they played all their whole life at Preston RSL, and North Heidelberg used to pay all the fees and the association stuff. So
definitely
they
got that wrong.
But they copped it hard.
Yep.
They got 5 points.
Definitely they got that wrong. And I don't speak to Boomer. I don't know him well enough. And a handful of times I've met him and said g'day, but my mail is he's still not over the moon about that. And that's wrong because that didn't encourage players. I'd love to see a few marquee players, one each week, head down to Lalor to help them out right now. Nothing would excite me more than seeing Fev down there one week, Kuda down there another week, Mitch Robertson down there another week, Eddie Betts down there another week. Like, give Eddie Betts the ability to go and play at Lalor as well, if that's the case, as a 0-pointer.
I'll throw another one in here too, that these people that do, we'll say, marquee players that play at clubs to try to get people through their door, because you do take the punt, you don't need a clearance. So after June 30, if they want to go to Heidelberg West, we'll say, in late August because they got some kind of function on, they can do that. So I wouldn't even say they need a clearance, because after June 30, the club you're registered with, that's the only club you can play for. So these marquee players, they do make good money out of it, and hopefully the clubs make good money out of it. I would say you don't even need a clearance.
All right, so I'm going to give you a left of centre one for that. So what if Heidelberg go and put that up? Well, Greensborough go and, Greensborough taking on Heidelberg, and Greensborough go and put in, let's just say Josh Dacos retires today and decides to come and play. That's probably not fair if they're playing against a bottom of the ladder side, a West Preston or a Diamond Creek that have just come up. I'm not saying they're bottom of the ladder, but, a side that isn't expected to make finals. How is that fair?
Now. So you're saying that round 18, Heidelberg are playing with, say, Hurstbridge. Hurstbridge really have to win, so they go and pay Nick Dacos $50,000 to come and play for him doing the game.
Yep.
And that would be a bit unfair.
Yeah, it would be unfair.
Especially Nick Dacos, his best player I've ever seen.
I'd love to see that rule trialled with the clubs more down the bottom to have the ability to do that.
Yes.
I think it's really good for them, and I'd love to see a way where there was some form of co-contribution to help a Layla out. No one wants to see Layla struggle, so I'd love to find a way forward for that. All good, KB. I'm sure you'll post some updates during the day to me of the game. I'm heading to Greensborough Banyule. You're going to Fitzroy Stars versus Lower Plenty. Today, JK's up bush playing with the Kangaroos. Calf Man's going to try, and he told us the other day that he was disappointed that he finished, he's the second highest all-time accumulator of possessions on the game, so he's got to go one possession better today and get 65 touches, although I'm feeling he might be heavily watched today.
I'm saying he will be. Can I have one other quick Brownies beef?
KB, this show's all about you. You know that. You tell me off air all the time, Daz. The sooner you understand this show's about me, the better we'll get along.
Well, this goes back to the 19s, right? And I'm pretty sure they're in grading period right now. Is that true or not?
I didn't think there was grading happening this year, but I could be wrong, so I won't give you a definitive answer.
Whether there is or there isn't, right? So you go to Division 1, and there's a team that's got a bye. Then you go to Division 3, there's a team that's got a bye. Why do we want these kids off the streets playing football? Why don't they just married up? There's 22 teams over the whole three divisions. Why is there a bye in Division 1 and Division 3? Either move someone up or someone down and make it even.
Truth is, I don't know. I'm not a lover of the bye myself in any format because I just don't like it.
Can we put a little poll out there? Who likes the kids having a bye and who likes the kids not having a bye?
Let's do a poll. I'll get it up tomorrow. I've just written it down on my little notes list.
I'd like to get a bit of feedback on that because we used to do it in basketball as well, whereas it was uneven teams, and you think just.
So what's the poll? Buy or no buy?
Sorry,
is the poll buy or no buy?
Do people want to buy or no buy?
Okay.
So yes or no.
All right. I'll.
Do you agree on two? Do you agree on? So it's not the actual buy; it's the two buys right now in Division 3 and Division 1.
Okay.
Which to me, I would like to see all kids on the track. So either Division 3 becomes even, and Division 1 become even. So we can just make it so all kids play at all times, and they're off the streets and they're playing good football.
No, it's a good point. I like it. I think there's
especially with even teams.
No, I think you're onto something there. It's a good topic. KB, you're starting to make a lot more sense this year. Maybe that concussion has kicked in because you're definitely making more sense this year, which scares the living bejesus out of me.
Well, you know what? I actually get a lot of people these days to come up and tell me about. So if anyone's got a Brownies beef and they want me to research it, please give me your beef and I'll look into it.
Yep, post it on our page or DM us on the Northern Footy Show page or the Local Sports Network page, and we'll pass it on to Brownie, and he's more than happy to research it in there for us. We've got some big news coming up next week, KB, that we're not announcing just yet, but on how we can mix things up a bit. But there's also a couple of games coming up. I've made a phone call this morning about maybe calling a night game next weekend. So that's looking likely. So we're
and there might be a special guest,
special guest,
a coach of another team actually calling it with us.
Well, that's going to be insane. I love it. I love it. And, yes, we're trying to do a few things with that, but we'll keep everybody on edge until then. KB, I'm going to let you go as I wrap up the show so I can head to the footy. Stop making sense because it makes it hard for me to dislike you. I try to, but I don't. I have KB love. There's nothing I can do.
I like everyone hate me. So
no, you do. But people think you're a dickhead when I actually know you're not a bad bloke. You're slightly over opinionated at times, but that's what people love about you, KB. We can't fight it. You're the cane cords of the Northern Football League.
I'm not sure about I'm cane cords.
All right, mate. You go have a great day. I'm sure we'll speak with updates during the day.
Oh, thank you.
Well, guys, that wraps up our show. I have gone 14 minutes over. That will shock absolutely nobody. If you've tuned in and you're halfway through this, give me 15 minutes and I'll post it up on Spotify so everyone can listen to it again. Thank you to all of our sponsors that get behind the show. And this show itself is powered by signaturesports.com.au. We're absolutely ecstatic to have everybody listen. The new app on Apple is available to download on Wednesday. The Google one will be available to the general public. Thank you to the 50 testers that have tested the app, and of course you can get the app off our website at localsportsnetwork.com.au. Until then, keep kicking goals.
Game time, anytime. Turn it up and let it play. Local Sports Network all day. Your home team, your call day. From first whistle to replay. Local Sports Network. We live the game your way.